parents always have lots of questions.
How can we get our baby to sleep?
And back to sleep in the middle of the night.
When will our baby sleep through the night?
Bantam Audio Publishing presents Get Your Baby to Sleep and Back to Sleep with Vicki Lansky.
When I was pregnant with my first child, the question I always asked of other parents was, when did your baby start sleeping through the night? The answer was always, after a few weeks, or after a few months. Not so bad, I thought. I could handle that. It was only later, much later, after struggling to survive with my wonderful but wakeful baby boy, that I learned that lack of sleep was synonymous with parenthood, and that, yes, I could survive a whole night without sleep and live to laugh about it. Once I stopped expecting a night of uninterrupted sleep, it didn't bother me not to experience it. I stopped being angry about being tired. I was just tired. Life got easier. As my baby grew, I found myself mentally documenting the reasons he woke at night. Sometimes he needed food, attention, or a clean diaper. Sometimes he'd lose his pacifier. Once in a while he was sick, or he was going through one of those landmarks of babyhood, teething, standing up without being able to sit down, separation anxiety. Once it was from the pain of a string in the foot of his sleeper wound round his toe, which I only discovered when I was dressing him to go to the emergency room. But often there were no reasons I could figure out. It's much easier for babies to wake up than it is for them to get to sleep. But getting a baby to sleep and back to sleep is not the impossible dream. While there are no real guarantees, there are routines, tips, and approaches that can help you, and we'll explain lots of them here. These are things that have really worked for parents. They've worked for them, and they can work for you too. First, you need to know what to expect from your baby.
How much does a newborn baby sleep?
Newborns usually have about 8 sleep periods a day, of varying length, and often just in snatches. It's typical for a newborn to sleep only 2 to 4 hours at a time, but many sleep less and many sleep more. An infant's sleep needs vary. Some may sleep 11 hours in a 24-hour period. Others will sleep 21 hours or more. All those patterns of sleep are averages only. Even the experts come up with different averages.
I used to think babies slept all the time. Surprise, surprise. Well, what sleep patterns can I expect?
Your infant's sleep patterns will be unique because your child's unique. You can't control your baby's sleep cycles. Neither can your baby, for that matter. Sleep is not a skill a baby can learn, and don't let anyone try to convince you otherwise. Letting your baby determine his or her sleep times will contribute to a more relaxed household during these early weeks. During the first 6 months or so, sleep patterns will largely reflect your baby's individual biological development. Babies at this age cannot resist sleeping when they're tired, nor can they continue to sleep when they're hungry. Babies' sleep patterns differ from those of an adult in both the quantity and quality of sleep. Your baby will have active sleep periods, during which a baby is easily awakened, or quiet sleep, which is a much deeper sleep without eye or body movements. Approximately 50% of a newborn's sleep is spent in each of these states, while an adult typically spends 80% of sleep time in the quiet, deep sleep. A baby makes frequent transitions between active and deep sleep and will often wake up during these transitions. That's why your baby will often awaken as you tiptoe out of the nursery. At times like these, rocking and nursing will help your baby enter this deeper, quieter sleep phase. Baby sleep patterns also reflect their temperaments. Easy babies spend longer periods in deep, quiet sleep and often don't cry when they wake briefly. More difficult or active babies carry their waking personalities into sleep. They spend more time in active sleep and wake easily. As your baby matures, he or she will develop the ability to pass through periods of light sleep more quickly. However, each infant reaches this point at his or her own pace. Keep in mind that your baby will get all the sleep that he or she needs, provided your baby's not in pain, left hungry, or constantly interrupted. Also, there is no relationship between health and how much sleep your baby gets. Try not to equate sleep with happiness, yours or your baby's, or superiority, yours or your baby's. Whether or not your baby is a good sleeper is not a reflection on how good a parent you are or of your baby's goodness. Infants don't just eat and sleep. Often they simply are awake. So don't expect your baby to be asleep when he or she is not feeding. By the second month, babies will be awake more during the day, and by the third to sixth month, a baby may fall into a routine of 2 longer daytime naps or sleeps. The transition into daytime napping schedule from around-the-clock sleeping-wakeful schedule will happen on its own, but you can encourage it by putting your baby down between 8 and 10 in the morning or 1 and 2 in the afternoon. Early on, a baby may catnap or have one time of day that develops into the main nap or take 2 longer regular naps. With a baby who naps regularly, even if the naps are not as long as you'd like, life becomes more normal at last.
Well, that's something to look forward to. But when will our baby sleep through the night?
This is a question all new parents ask, but the real question is, why is it so important? Obviously, it's not important to your baby, or your baby would sleep through the night. What we are really saying is that we want to know when we will be able to sleep through the night. When can you expect a full night's sleep? Well, never soon enough. And with a new baby, sleeping through the night is the exception, not the rule. Somewhere along the way, you've probably read or heard that babies should sleep through the night by the time they're 1 to 3 months of age. Well, maybe yours will, and maybe not. By the end of the first month, most babies are still waking up twice a night to eat, but usually they will go back to sleep right away. Lots of babies don't sleep through the night until they're over 6 months of age. You'll have to decide on your definition of through the night. Some parents may be perfectly satisfied that their baby is sleeping through the night when their baby doesn't get them up between midnight and 5 a.m. Other parents won't be satisfied until their baby sleeps from 7 at night to 7 in the morning. By 6 months, as I have said, most babies do sleep through the night. It's at this time, if not before, that you may be able to begin to adjust your baby's sleep to suit your schedule. You can then hold off or move up the last evening mealtime feeding to make the morning wake-up time more convenient. Some experts use a weight guideline of 12 pounds when babies can be expected to sleep through the night. If your doctor agrees and your baby is getting enough milk and solids during the day and still waking, your baby should no longer need a feeding between midnight and 5 or 6 in the morning. But do bear in mind that no matter when your baby starts sleeping through the night, it probably won't last. Many babies go through periods of waking up again at night at various stages of their development.
I'm learning that parenting is a 24-hour-a-day job. It doesn't end at 8 o'clock at night or begin at 7 in the morning. Babies need their parents at night as well as during the day.
What kind of things will help get our baby to sleep?
In the beginning, we have comforting measures to help our babies get to sleep. After about the age of 6 months, babies begin to develop their own comforting habits, rocking themselves, stroking their hair, or something soft, along with the soothing things that you do. One thing parents can do from the beginning is establish a settling-in routine, a comforting nightly routine that incorporates warmth, calming, sound, and motion acts as a soothing habit. First, make sure baby is physically cozy. Here are some tips. Start with clean, dry diapers. Keep the temperature in the baby's room at about 70 degrees if you can. Try a warm bath as your baby's last activity before sleep. Dress your baby in a sleep sack or sleeper outfit that will keep him or her warm all over, even without a blanket. Warm your baby's sleep clothes for a moment in the dryer, being sure that zippers and snaps are not too hot. You may even want to warm your baby's sheet with a heating pad. Although babies love warmth, overdressing a baby is a common mistake that can interfere with sleep. Normally, babies need the same amount of clothing and covering as adults do at the same temperature. Check your baby's body temperature by touching the back of the neck, not the hands and feet, which always tend to be cool to the touch because baby circulation to their extremities is not yet well developed. Physical calming is also an important part of a comforting routine. Here are some things you can do. Try swaddling your baby, wrapping him or her in a blanket so there is constant touch all over the body and body movement is restricted. Some babies respond better to light swaddling, others to very snug swaddling. Most babies like the feeling of being enclosed. Try holding your baby close to your chest and breathing slowly. Some babies have an absolute preference for one position when they're held, and it may well be a position that's uncomfortable for you, but if you find a position that works, use it. Sucking is another important part of baby's comfort. Babies have a strong sucking instinct even before they're born. You can calm your baby by giving him or her a pacifier. Most dentists feel you don't have to worry about the pacifier habit affecting your child's teeth alignment until after the age of 3. Plus, pacifiers today have been designed with mouth and tooth alignment in mind. The safest kind to buy is the one piece of molded plastic with a ring and disc too large to lodge in the baby's throat. And this is very important. Remember, never tie a pacifier on a string around a sleeping baby's neck. It can strangle a baby. If you use a pacifier, here are some tips. Hold the pacifier in your baby's mouth until he or she gets the hang of it, if necessary. Remove the pacifier after your baby falls asleep to prevent dependency on it to stay asleep. If your baby prefers a bottle nipple, buy one without a hole and use a bottle as a holder. Keep extra pacifiers around, in the crib, at grandma's, even one on your keychain. And if you don't like pacifiers, or if your baby won't accept one, fingers and thumbs are good alternatives. After all, they never get lost or wear out.
Neither of our babies sucked their thumbs for more than a few months. I'd always thought all babies did, and I was ready to accept it.
Our kids sucked their thumbs. My neighbor's 4 didn't. And you know who needed braces? All of them.
Another important part of a soothing routine is sound. Your baby loves to hear your voice. Sing to your baby. Don't worry about being in tune, or hum if you prefer. Or read aloud in a soft sing-song voice. Read anything you like. Your baby responds to the sound, not the content. Here are some other sound suggestions that are known to be soothing for babies. Run a fan, a hair dryer, or the vacuum cleaner for a while. You can also provide this sort of white noise by tuning a radio to a station that's off the air. Put a ticking clock in the baby's room. Play soothing music on the radio or stereo, or play a musical mobile or music box. And remember, play Sweet for Baby on side 2 of this tape. It's been composed specifically to combine soothing music plus the intrauterine sounds your baby is used to. Certain kinds of motion, like some sounds, are also comforting to babies. And here are some tips on using motion to ease your baby to sleep. Walk or dance with your baby in your arms or in a soft front carrier. Rock your baby in a rocking chair or look for an old-fashioned cradle that rocks. Put the baby in a wind-up swing or cradle swing. Bounce your baby gently on your bed. A water bed is ideal. You can even find some crib-sized ones. Or hold the baby against your chest, sit on the edge of your bed, and bounce together. Let your baby sleep in a carriage so you can jiggle it while you're sitting down or next to your bed at night while you're lying down.
Sometimes a soothing routine doesn't work when our baby is crying. Why does our baby cry, and what can we do about it?
Babies cry because they don't have words for what they need, and we parents do not instinctively know what a crying baby is trying to tell us. Merely being parents does not confer instant wisdom or intuition. Interpreting a baby's cries is a skill that's learned through trial and error. Babies cry for a variety of reasons, including filling and exercising those new lungs. Their levels of distress vary widely, but basically crying falls into two categories: crying that communicates a need and crying that releases tensions that the baby can't otherwise express. The most important thing to remember about crying is your baby's crying has nothing to do with the quality of your parenting. One comfort is that the fussy crying that seems to reach a peak when the baby is about 6 weeks old usually tapers off after 3 months of age. Crying usually diminishes then because the baby's gastrointestinal tract has matured, so it's under less stress. And as the baby develops new motor skills, rolling over, thumb sucking, and hand and foot watching become more interesting and satisfying than fussing. An infant of this age has also learned to recognize mom and dad's faces, so their presence in a room is usually calming. Crying will also diminish when the baby gets older and learns other ways to express needs. Although every baby's cries are different, there are some patterns to crying. These patterns may not match your baby's exactly, but you might find the descriptions helpful. A cry of hunger is usually rhythmical. The baby cries, pauses, then cries again. Remember that during growth spurts, babies get very hungry, and you should adjust your baby's diet accordingly. A cry of pain is often loud, long, shrill, and urgent. It begins suddenly, stops for a time, and then begins again. Sharp cries may signal sharp pain. A cry that indicates the baby has a fever or may be coming down with something or is reacting to inoculations is whiny and nasal, often a continuous fussing. Cries of boredom, exhaustion, and unhappiness or rage vary from infant to infant, situation to situation. They may simply result from a need to let off steam.
What can I do to comfort my baby when she wakes and cries?
Some people feel that the urge to stop your baby's crying immediately is misguided. They say that babies need to cry and should be encouraged to do so. You can comfort and attend to a baby and still let him or her cry. To comfort your baby, you can use the same calming techniques you use to get your baby to sleep. Feeding your baby, providing physical security, sound, and motion all work. You can also take a warm bath with your baby, give your baby a massage, a gentle rhythmic rub-down, or change the baby's position or location to another room or into the carriage for a ride.
Am I supposed to pick up the baby every time she cries? Will it spoil her if I do?
No, it won't. Not in the beginning. Pick up your newborn. You can't spoil a baby. If you were crying, wouldn't you like to be held? But don't pick up your baby only when he or she cries. Studies show babies cry less if they're regularly picked up when they're not crying.
Some people tell me I should let my baby cry it out. Should I?
No, newborns shouldn't be left to cry it out. Of course, a year-old baby who's waking and crying is a different story. A crying newborn who's left alone will eventually stop crying, either because he doesn't have the strength to continue or because he has learned the hard lesson that crying will not bring comfort.
What do I do when I've tried everything and she's still crying?
It doesn't seem fair that babies will cry after you've done everything you can think of, and it's not, but they do.
What I did was get up when he cried, give him a bottle and change him, but no play. He cried, but we hardened ourselves and ignored him for a certain set time. We would set the timer for 10 minutes the first night, 15 the second night, 30 minutes the next night. But by then, he had quieted down.
Some parents take this middle-of-the-road approach. They respond immediately to a crying baby to find out if anything is wrong and try to help calm the baby before he gets worked up. No baby should be expected to cry it out if the crying is caused by discomfort, hunger, for example, or gas pains that require burping. Once you take care of any problem, or you're satisfied that nothing is really wrong, Then you can put the baby back down and allow him to cry.
I just made sure that he was well fed, had clean diapers, and wasn't too warm or cold. After some soothing, without picking him up, I knew there was nothing else to do. I just let him cry, and things improved within a few days.
As a last resort, consider these suggestions. Try burping your baby one more time. A gas bubble may be the only thing between distress and pure comfort. Turn your baby over to someone else if possible, even if for only an hour for some relief. Or, as a final resort, put the baby to bed, leave the room, lie down for 15 minutes, and turn up some music to drown out the crying.
Well, you've told us how to get our baby to sleep, but what about nighttime waking? How can we get our baby back to sleep?
Some babies who have no trouble falling asleep may still wake up several times during the night. Others may sleep through the night for a few months and then go back to night waking for a while. For many babies, simply waking in a dark room creates a need to be reassured and to know you're nearby. Also remember that for months, you've helped your baby get to sleep by providing a soothing routine. Your baby may be conditioned to need you in order to get to sleep or back to sleep in the night. For your young baby, the same comforting routines that you used at bedtime will help him or her get back to sleep. But at some point, you're going to have to change the deal. Your baby needs to learn how to get him or herself back into a deep sleep. So you should attend to your baby gently but firmly to convey the message that he or she is to go back to sleep. You should stop rocking your baby to sleep. Instead, you might sit nearby the crib, but avoid eye contact or touching so your baby can settle in. Or also verbal assurance from the doorway so your baby hears you but doesn't see you. Some parents say that a few nights of this will do it, since babies do learn to get into quiet sleep faster as they grow.
Why is our baby a night waker?
There are so many reasons why a baby can be a nighttime waker. For instance, too much sleep during the day can keep a baby up at night. If your baby is waking more than once a night, try providing more stimulation during the day to keep him or her awake. Babies developing motor skills may also keep them from sleeping. If they're able to stand up in a crib but can't get back down yet, or if they can flip themselves over to their backs but can't get back to their stomachs, they're going to cry for help. This may be frustrating and tiresome for you, but shift your perspective for a moment and realize that it's no picnic for your baby either. This brand new world is getting exciting and frustrating. Also, by the middle of their first year, babies begin to suffer from separation anxiety. That is, they worry that when mom or dad goes away, they won't come back. And of course, there's teething. From 5 to 9 months, your baby may start to awaken because of teething pain. This usually lasts a day or two for each tooth. The problem is more severe when several teeth come in at once or in rapid succession. When teething starts, you can ask your doctor about using some baby non-aspirin pain relievers. Put a drop or two of liquor on your finger and rub it into your baby's sore gums. Or try the over-the-counter products that don't contain alcohol. And keep an extra pacifier in the freezer. The cold should soothe the pain, and the pacifier should soothe the baby.
We can try all these things, but it's obvious we're going to lose sleep. I've got to be fresh on the job. How do we cope?
People who say they sleep like a baby usually don't have one. Some days it seems as if your baby never really sleeps at all. He or she goes to sleep late, wakes up early, and catnaps only occasionally through the long day. It's not fair that just when you need the greatest amount of energy to cope with all the changes and demands a new baby brings, you have the least. But nobody ever said life as a parent was fair. It can be fun, but it's not always fair. You're probably focusing most of your attention on the baby, and that's perfectly natural. But the bottom line is this. There's only one person who's going to take care of you, and that's you. You can and you must find ways to deal with fatigue. You must make time for yourself, and you must learn ways to handle the stress caused by a crying and wakeful baby.
I learned to cut my expectations of myself by half. The immaculate house, the gourmet meals, and my organized schedule just weren't as important as taking care of my baby and myself.
We decided not to entertain visitors on their schedules. We told them we had a half hour to share and said it was doctor's orders.
Try sharing nighttime feedings with your spouse or anyone else available if you can, or better yet, give each other a night off rather than splitting or sharing nighttime duty. One tired parent can be better than two. And moms, avoid the pitfall of exhausting yourself by working whenever your new baby is sleeping. Naps when your baby naps restore energy better than any stimulant. Don't feel guilty for wanting your baby to sleep so you can have time to yourself. It's a normal feeling. And remind yourself you're not alone. Millions of other parents are doing exactly what you're doing this very moment. Believe it or not, you will survive. All the tips we've given you really work. There are lots of other tips in my book, Getting Your Baby to Sleep and Back to Sleep. You'll also find additional hints for colic and sleep concerns of your toddler or preschooler. But for now, it's time to get your little one settled down with Sweet for Baby. You can play this soothing 30-minute tape over and over as part of the comforting bedtime routine you develop for your baby. The combination of lullaby-type music, heartbeats, and sounds from the womb is specially designed to work together, lulling your baby gently to sleep night after night. So turn the tape over and get your baby to sleep with Sweet for Baby.
You've been listening to Get Your Baby to Sleep and Back to Sleep by Vicki Lansky. This tape has been produced by Blaine and DeRosa Productions. Copyright 1987, Bantam Audio Publishing.